All right, good morning and welcome to Round 11 action here at Grand Prix Rotterdam. I'm Brian David Marshall. I'm joined in the booth by Mate Big Z Zadelkai. And we're watching, there you see Team Dex Army. You see Javier Dominguez, Marcio Carvalho, and Luis Salvato. And there you see Frank Karsten, Brent Voss, and Bas Mellis. And Frank's playing with his buddies, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to start on Luis Salvato and Bas Mellis here. And we see a pretty fast opening here for Salvato, coming off of a Pro Tour Top 16 earlier this year at Pro Tour Kaladesh.
Yeah.
Opens up with a Hawk and follows it up with a Renegade Freighter. And if he can put 2 power on the board, he'll get to his trains will run on time.
No, I mean, he doesn't even need that much help. Eddie Trailhawk is not the best one with a Renegade Freighter.
But a second Eddie Trailhawk and he can get it going.
Sure.
So there is a Janjeet Sentry from Bas Mellis.
Oh.
White-blue versus white-red.
Ooh, looks like no creatures from Luis Salvato.
Oh, no.
That's bad news for his white-red deck. I think I saw 2 built to last in his hand as well. So I think once he draws a creature and it stays alive, he'll be in good shape. But for now, he just has to ping in with the Hawk here. But that has to make Bas Mellis a little nervous. Like pass with 4 mana up, no creature. What is going on here? And
you got to think about impeccable timing if you attack.
Yeah. At least
although I think he'd happily lose his
Janjeet
Sentry to impeccable timing.
Yeah. I think Bas has a pretty good hand for this situation, though. He can play the Artisan. And I think he has double Revoke Privileges in his hand, which is quite good against the combat tricks from Luis Salvato, especially if he's looking to just get a creature so that he can start the pain train rolling.
Yeah, the pain train is still in the station here. It doesn't look like it's going to get rolling anytime soon. See a Chandra's Pirate Helix in hand for Salvato. This Hawk's doing some circles around the table before it attacks.
Yeah, but it must be getting a little more nervous looking down at the army of Bas Mellis. Yeah, I mean, Luis has a decent hand, but he just drew a Skywiller shot against a bunch of 2 power creatures, and as you can see, we're trying to fix some camera issues here.
You can get a look at the whole feature match area.
Yeah, so what are the matchups here? There we go. We're back. Awesome.
Back. Okay, Chandra's Pirate Helix takes down the Glint Sleeve Artisan, and 3 damage comes through to Salvato from Bas.
Now look at that hand from Bas Mellis. He has not only the constant Skygate now to keep the Hog at bay, but the double Revoke Privileges means that he'll be able to keep attacking. He's like, let's go, creature! It'll end. He has to keep waiting. A really awkward draw for Luis here.
It's kind of interesting that this sort of new concept that's happened with vehicles is that you can get vehicle flooded and you can get creature screwed.
This is one of the reasons why I'm not a huge fan of Eddie Trailhawk, just because it's just so much harder to get it to crew sometimes, and it's just the effect is a little negligible.
Look at this. This is how we're gonna crew the freighter. We're gonna build to last to give 2 extra power to the Hawk and then attack for 5 with the freighter.
It's just such a waste, though.
And we might see that again next turn.
Ugh. I'm really not liking it. I understand that Luis needs to get on the board, but I would have waited at least 1 more turn. I mean, I understand he couldn't get past the Skygate and he wants to keep up the pressure, but I just don't think that's a way to win the long game.
Yeah, 3 coming back at him from Salvato. Salvato taps 6 mana.
Wisp-Weaver Angel.
Wisp-Weaver Angel, and he's going to be able to get a little bit more energy from that Janjeet Sentry, which is going to make it more difficult also to get that freighter going as we get into the mid game and that Sentry stays back.
Yeah, but at least it gave Luis Salvato a target for a Skywiller shot, and he get to scry something to the bottom, so now it's even more like that he'll finally draw a creature. Did he? Is it another Hawk? Are you a prophet? you said this very thing.
2 Hawks climb into a Renegade Freighter. It's like a Pixar movie.
Yeah. I'm really wondering about the rest of Luis's deck now. Does he have more Hawks? Yeah, but it's. I mean, we're laughing now, but Bass is down to 7 from those attacks.
Well, which really shows you the power of Renegade Freighter here.
Oh, but now Bass drew a good cut for the situation. He drew an Ether Meltdown.
Oh wow!
He can put on the Freighter. Get some more energy going as well. He drew plenty of lands. So double Revoke Privilege and Ether Meltdown. I mean, he can deal with some creatures.
There's an aura of victory around Bass Mellis right now.
No, I think he needs a good creature to follow it up. But I think this is what the whole game is about. The player who draws a good creature first might just win this. But fortunately for Bass, he's the one with the answers. I think it was just another Plains.
Okay, here comes the Freighter. Here comes the Meltdown.
Boom. 2 more energy, -4, -0, and he can now block it with the Skygate.
Yeah. It's got 1 power. Built to Last isn't even going to push it through here. And the Jinjit Sentry is like, getting its attack on here. I've never seen a Jinjit Sentry attack this much in all the Kaladesh I've played.
Sure. No, but like this seems like a wet noodle fight, It's like both players with like small creatures that usually you wouldn't see attacking much and like trying to do their best. Yeah, Luis is looking at his build to last. I think he might be using it defensively here. But if I'm Bass Mellis, I'm just thinking like, should I just revoke these 2 Hogs and just start swinging? He's got the mana for it.
I mean, if you revoke the Hawk, you're still going to get a crude Freighter.
Well, he would
for that turn.
Yeah, Luis would need to tap in response to the.
Okay, there's the Salivating Gremlins.
Okay. So, first creature, a relevant creature at least for Luis Salvato.
So 2 Hawks fly over, 1 gets in. Here's Salivating Gremlins. Almost certainly going to get its privileges revoked.
Yeah. Yeah, but now Bass can tap down the Gremlins as well, because if Bass doesn't, he'll untap, and once he plays the revoke privileges, Luis will be able to animate the Renegade Freighter.
Yeah.
There's still an impeccable timing. Oh, there's a card. Gearseeker Serpent. Now he has to figure out what he wants to do. The Serpent only costs 5, so he can go with 1 revoke privileges. Use that.
Yep. Crew the Freighter. Of course, he can tap the Freighter if he wants to get in for 1 and then be able to kill. Next, he has a 1-turn clock with the Serpent.
He can also play it slow. Like, he has the Sentry here, so he can just wait back, tap down one of the creatures, and untap and play the other revoke privileges.
Is that another Freighter?
I think so,
Salvato
yeah.
just drew?
I'm not sure if he will be that happy with his teammates, forcing him to play some Eddy Trail Hogs alongside 2 Renegade Freighters. But I think that's just a poor draw. I can't imagine Luis Salvato having more non-creature spells in his deck. And these sorts of white-red decks usually play anywhere between 15 and 17 creatures, sometimes even more.
Yeah. Luis Salvato, of course, going to the World Magic Cup next weekend as the Argentinian Magic champion.
Yeah, no surprise after a Pro Tour top 8 at the Pro Tour Shadows over Innistrad there. Great result for him there, and you could see how happy he was himself and how happy he made the community by doing that. All right, so this is a pretty cool spot where Luis can still use the build to last. He'll probably forced to build to last here to pump up the toughness of the Eddy Trail Hog in response to the revoke privileges.
He doesn't even have the heart for it.
He actually he shouldn't even hesitated and just scooped out cards immediately. Now Baz might be thinking like, okay, he might have one more build to last, which is very relevant in the following games.
It's been very, very interesting to talk to you this weekend as we go through this about how much information people leak through what they're thinking about tapping. Just sit on your hands, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it's a hallmark of less experienced players that do this. just needlessly tapping cards before they have to. Or, I saw this a couple of times where, there's a lot of powerhouse teams and they're playing against people who might be playing, a couple of their first GPs. And they're nervous and they're dropping cards all over the place, like nervous when shuffling, nervous when tapping mana. Their voice is stuttering when they're trying to say something that's happening in the game. And it's a great learning experience, getting to play against the best of the best.
All right, we're going to go to our table A here. We got Javier Dominguez versus Frank Karsten. Frank Karsten, of course, a Pro Tour Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
The masked man of the Pro Tour.
Yeah, and also a player who claims to never have won an actual Magic tournament. He said the best he could do was get second place at an FNM, but of course he's a Hall of Famer, multiple Pro Tour top 8s. He just never got the win. And now there's another card which has been very strongly on our radar this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen a lot of Marionette Master.
Decisions for Javier Dominguez.
Javier Dominguez, of course, the Spanish national champion. All 3 members of this Dex Army team are their national champions.
And
Spain, Portugal, and Argentina here.
Yeah, and awesome to see them coming together for this. But it also, in a way, it's nice. It allows the other team members, to do their own thing, maybe because World Magic Cup teams are teams of 4, so there's always the odd man out if you want to play a team GP. And then this way, putting the captains together, the other guys might play together if they made the way here already. We've seen, I think, 15 teams yesterday that were national team compositions.
Yeah.
Our showrunner, Toby Henke, did the math, and it was cool to see. We saw Russia, China, Luxembourg, all in the feature match area. Japan, of course. They're doing really well, too. So let's look at the game, though. It's quite a complex board state, especially now that Javier played that Marionette Master as a 4-6, not going for the servos.
4-6, despite being kind of outmanned on the board here. Just tidy conclusion, takes it out.
Yeah, getting punished there for not going with the servos. And
Carson's going to put the goggles on his flyer, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I think he wants to make his flyer a 4-power just so that it gets past the console Skygate.
He's thinking about it, though. He's doing the math, as Frank does.
He might be considering put it on the done operative as
so
well.
So that it can't be killed.
Yeah, so it doesn't trade with the Precado Pillar Bug, but I think this is better.
Yeah, he ends up deciding that it will go on and attacks with everybody.
Yeah, I think the Pillar Bug will be trading here.
Yeah, can't gain life this turn with it.
But this is 9 damage coming through.
Yeah. And that's going to drop Javier to 2.
Yeah, and he loses his lifelinking creature without actually getting a chance to use lifelink. Look at his hand; it's pretty slow. There's a malfunction, 5 mana 4/3 fabricate, Etherborn.
Etherborn more
ambitious Etherborn.
Yeah. All right, Javier goes to 2. What can he find here?
Oh, but I think he won't find anything. But other than maybe trying to win some more games, even though he can still survive at least for one more turn. I think he drew the card P-file, but he might start off with a malfunction. Only has 7 mana at his disposal. Oh, what was that? Wait, how did he cast that? I don't see a Prophetic Prism.
Yeah, I don't see a Prophetic Prism either. Unless, oh, you know what? There may very well have been, that may be Frank's Gearsmith.
Oh, from like a Dante?
And there may be a Gonti in
Gonti,
the graveyard. Yeah. Oh, there's a Gonti.
Yeah, speaking of the devil, so it looks like both players might have had one.
A card I get irrationally angry about whenever
of course.
my opponent plays it.
Like you just hate the fact that people steal your own cards.
I get so mad. It's like, no, that's my decoction module.
Right. Right, that's sweet though. We didn't see the face down card from Javier had at his disposal, and now Frank gets to take one of Javier's cards. And Blue Black usually has a lot of power there.
And I think he took a counter spell. It looked like. It looked like he may have taken a Disappearing Act.
Ooh,
it was certainly one of his options.
So yeah, and played Disappearing Act, return Gonti, play it again. Ooh. Yeah, look at that. The whole board trades as well. They're trying to. Oh yeah. That was interesting. Frank's like, this Gearsmith's dead, and Javier's like, no, it's yours. Put it in your graveyard.
Yeah, and then we forgot that there was a +1/+1 counter on that self-assembler.
I don't think he forgot. It was just like the creatures were traded, but Javier was just saying like, yeah, you should put it on your own grave. It doesn't go into mine, so you're the one who should clean it up.
So can Javier find something to keep himself alive here? He got to draw a card off of the Filigree Familiar. He's got a Jakara P-Foul.
Right. No counterspell from Frank. Might be something else. There's a face down card there, which it is in Javier's sleeves. He's talking to his teammate Brent Voss, who already lost his match to Marcio.
Oh wow! Marcio plays so fast.
Yeah, he's like Shota.
Yeah.
But like especially good in limited.
Okay, so this actually spreads it out so that there are no blocks for Javier that keep him alive.
Yeah, he can give his creatures fly. Like he'll
give his creature flying, but now no matter what, 2 creatures with at least 2 power are going to get through. He's at 4. He has to have a card in hand to deal with something on the board.
And he does. He has a Subtle Strike in his hand, I think. I saw. Yeah, he does have a Subtle Strike.
Oh wow, Subtle Strike is unbelievable here.
Yeah, can kill the Founder's creature and make a 3-power P-Foul, which can trade with the Gonti at least.
But there's a Disappearing Act from Javier Dominguez's own deck. Returns Prophetic Prism, counters the Subtle Strike, and that is going to be the game for Frank Karsten.
Yeah, I was surprised when he didn't Disappearing Act the P-Foul. But he was just playing it safe. He said, I have enough on the board. I'll just wait for your trick if you have one.
Right.
And wait for you to tap out.
Even with the P-Foul, I win.
Yeah.
And if you have an answer, I have the counter spell here.
Well played by Frank Karsten.
Yeah, great patience.
I mean, his team is firmly on defensive now with Marcio having won his match, but they're up in both the other matches, so I think he'll be in decent shape. And look at that. Bas Malus has an Aerial Responder. Propel Pioneer has already revoked the privileges of 2 creatures.
But the Eddie Trail Hawk still flies.
But Luis is down to 12, and Bas is the one with on 18 life still. So, and I think Luis is low on card as well. He has 6 lands in play, 1 more mountain in his hand, just 1 spell, I think. Might be 2 lands.
He has
wow.
2 lands, yeah.
And look, Bas only has 4 lands. And so he has plenty of spells.
Oh, a handful of spells, including a Cloud Blazer, including a Dovin Bond, including a Malfunction.
Jeez, not looking good for the Argentinian national captain here. Yeah, this blue-white deck that they put together looks pretty nice. They split up the white cards, and I wonder what Brent Voss was doing in the middle. I assume he was playing red-green, based on the other colors that we've seen so far. Yeah, Dobenband seems like a good play on this board. And Brent might be saying.
He's also got a Janjit Sentry.
I think a Cloud Blazer.
Well, he definitely has a Cloud Blazer.
Yeah, and 1 more card.
Wow.
Yeah,
there's Dovin Bond. He says, "Yeah, I'd like your glint sleeve artisan to have shorter sleeves next turn."
Okay, Fragmentize for Luis Salvador. I assume he boarded this one in because after seeing all those revoked privileges and a couple of artifacts, he'll certainly find some targets. But look at Bas Malus' graveyard. He also has a Fragmentize of his own, and there's a Renegade Freighter in a graveyard. So players boarding in the relevant cards for this matchup. There's always targets, it seems.
Yeah, it's interesting here because Luis can Fragmentize the revoke privileges that's on his Wayward Giant and really threaten Dovin Bond here.
Yeah.
And that's what he does.
He can also give it flying with the Eddie Trail Hawk. Yeah. If he wants to make sure to kill the Dovin Bond.
Yep.
Yeah. Looks like both of them are attacking.
And the reason both are attacking because if one of those creatures wants to block the Eddie Trail Hawk, then neither of them can block the Wayward Giant, which has Menace. Only 2 blockers here for Bas.
I would still double block the Giant if I've got the opportunity. You have 2 flyers. It will mean that your aerial responder will most likely die, but your Dovenbahn will stay in play, and like you have so much power left on board. Just having the board presence of Dovenbahn is what's going to win you the game. Oh, but he goes.
He just lets it go.
But on the other hand, he does have malfunction to take care of the giant again, and he's swinging for 5 in the air, so losing 2 extra damage every turn is something that Basma has thought, like, okay, I don't want this to happen. I just want to keep attacking.
Yeah, he gets in for 5.
Yeah, now he's going to malfunction, looks like. Maybe
He's choosing between the Janjit Sentry and the malfunction.
Yeah, he's going to go for the malfunction.
You just got to get that Wayward Giant locked down.
Yeah, and Luis is like, I just wasted my Fragmentize. He drew a Wealth as monitor, I think.
Well, he fragmentized a Dovenbahn.
In a way, yeah. Oh, okay. Consul's Shield Guard. That's a good card. So 3/4, and that can give your creatures indestructible when you attack.
Doesn't give itself, but I guess if you're
No.
attacking with a Wayward Giant, that's a
Exactly.
pretty formidable attacker.
It's a 3/4 for 4 mana. Just the base numbers are solid enough, and it's a energy generator. Some people don't like it, but it can be really good in those decks with where you have a lot of high power creatures, and as well as some energy synergy.
Still just the 4 lands for Boston. Still plenty of cards to deploy. Would not mind hitting that 5th mana and getting his Cloud Blazer going. No doubt looking at that red and that white open and thinking about impeccable timing with his flyers.
Yeah. He also knows about the build to last.
Oh yeah,
You can block with the hog and pump it. So if he's if he doesn't have an instant, there may be a case of really thinking through what you want to do here. Just a chump block here.
Wow. Well, he is at 7. He doesn't want to go to 2.
Not surprised. You might see a Glinslive Artisan from Boss as well.
Start to go wide.
Yeah, well, with your opponent at 5 life.
No, plays the Janjit Sentry. Wants to have the ability to, if a flyer shows up or...
Yeah. I think this is going to be game because Luis Salvador drew another land. He's even, again, universal hand language. Talking to Marcy Carvalho. He's like, yeah, well, I mean, let's just attack here.
He's like, you making anything? No, I'm not making anything indestructible.
Yeah.
Just attacking you. So 5 plays 10.
And finally, 5th land for Bas Mellis, who has the Cloud Blazer ready if he needs it, but it looks like he'll just attack with the 2 flyers here. Yeah. What can he have?
Attacks for lethal.
Yeah.
Salvador hits reveal hand.
Ouch.
Shows him 3 lands.
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
This is very similar to what we seen early yesterday, where the multinational international team of Salvador Carvalho Dominguez just drew blanks in their match and just they couldn't get the win. But that was their only loss. Now looking like they might pick up their second, but we'll see how Frank Karsten is doing in A.
So Carvalho wins his set. Bas Mellis wins his set. That means the Frank Karsten Javier Dominguez set will determine the winner of this match. Frank Karsten's still up 1-0 over Javier Dominguez.
Yeah, funny story. I was talking to Frank, and he registered for this GP alongside his buddy. He's like, "Yeah, might as well be fun." And then he got a call from Greg Collins, our coverage boss. Like, "So Greg, remember, like we were counting on you for GP Rotterdam coverage." And Frank's like, "That's news to me. You didn't tell me. I'm registered to play." And like, at this point, I'm gonna play. And and now look at how well he's doing. Like Frank really putting in the works, and look at this board.
Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Javier Dominguez, blue-black. He's got the Metal Spinners Puzzle Knot, the Consulate Skygate, the Filigree Familiar, the Foundry Screecher, and a Gonti with a card under it. The Lord of Luxury.
Yeah.
He even got a pompous name.
Yeah.
I hate that guy so much.
But it's so good when he's on your side.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the top 4 cards. It's all good cards. You're like, oh, I'm going to take the best one, and I'm going to put the rest on the bottom. Suck it.
So Gonti trades with an ambitious Etherborn. And important to note that even though Gonti's gone, you can still play that card that Gonti found.
Ooh, okay.
There's a Fairgrounds Warden to take out the Foundry Screecher, and then there's a Pricata Pillar Bug for Frank Karsten. But Gear Seeker Serpent just costs 4 mana for Javier Dominguez, Spanish national champion. Looks at the card. Says, "Ooh, what did I get again?"
Must be good. Problem for Frank then, though, now is that he doesn't have a way through. He does have 3 artifacts, so he can activate the Inventor's Fair if he wants to, but he also has a Tidy Conclusion and can gain 3 life.
And then he's going to gain another life on his upkeep.
Yeah, as you noticed, we switched the life totals were incorrect, so they were switched around. So Frank was the one on the
on the
back
lower
foot.
life total. Yeah.
But now we're slowly crawling back, and he has the pillar bugs that can gain some more life. Look, like Javier Dominguez's board has been decimated over the last 2 turns.
And this is something we've seen Frank Daly's attack, even though that Fairgrounds Warden doesn't have any kind of profitable attack at all. He just gets it in there because
why not?
it means one creature's definitely getting through, even if it's just the Fairground Warden. Gains 4 life from his pillar bugs.
And I think
Ambitious Etherborn for Javier Dominguez.
Yeah,
I think he's going to make a servo here. Yeah.
There it is. Clogging up the ground again. Oh, Frank, I think, drew another excellent card. I think it's a Rush of Vitality.
That card has been just overperforming all weekend long.
Yeah. And people still don't want to put it into their decks just because it competes with the Soul Strike, another card we've been very high on.
All right. How do you want to block here?
Yeah, Frank just is going to get the lifelink train rolling. Remember, he also has that Inventor's Fair.
And he's up to 25 here. Yeah, Consulate Skygate just blocked 1 pillar bug, and that was it.
He might Frank might sacrifice the Inventor's Fair at the end of the turn and look for something. Wouldn't it be funny if the card he was looking for is under the Gonti? Oh, this is cool.
Gets a self-assembler with his Inventor's Fair. By the way, Pricata Pillar Bug came down there for Javier Dominguez.
There's 3 pillar bugs on the battlefield. I don't know if I can take any more.
You're getting itchy?
Yeah. Here comes the assemble squad. I wonder how many Frank has. Okay, just 2. Looking at his deck list. But he's playing 3 Pricata Pillar Bugs, so.
All right, Prophetic Prism for Dominguez. There's his work cut out for him. Although I guess some of the life link has subsided for Frank, or some of the life gain, I should say, without the Inventor's Fair every turn. But a nice white-black artifact deck that we're seeing here from Frank Karsten.
This game is going to go long. Okay, not searching for anything. Still a Prophetic Prism.
Ooh, foil Prophetic Prism. That one's very pretty.
Yeah. I don't see any splashes, though, for...
So Javier sacrifices his Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot at the end of the turn, digging for cards. And there is a Marionette Master.
Ooh, very good on this board.
But he's not going to play it this turn. Instead, plays a P-Foul.
Plays the waiting game. By the way, Frank actually has almost a mono-black deck. The only white card he's running is the Fairgrounds Warden, and he also has one multicolor card in the Restoration Gearsmith. Otherwise, he's mono-black.
Wow. So just an interesting question. How many planes does he run to support that?
5 planes.
So more than you probably need statistically, but you really just want to have the weight.
Yeah, and he also has the Prophetic Prism as well to help with that. But on the other hand, he's also running the Inventor's Fair, so he has that extra colorless source.
So there's wow, Foundry Screecher. There's a Malphite squad, and things are getting out of hand here for Frank Karsten as he's just hitting the board. Yeah, decides to go for 4 making a token. But here is the Marionette Master, and it comes in again with 3+1/+1 counters.
Yeah, at this point, I think Javier recognized that he needs to have not just a big board presence of its own, but this will make it very hard for Frank to attack into. Just because every time one of Javier's creatures would die, Frank would take 4. So this could actually be a legitimate win condition if you look at how many artifacts Javier Dominguez has in play.
Yeah, Frank's like, you know what? I don't want to attack into that. Pass the turn.
Frank has another tidy conclusion in his deck, but he already played one.
All right, P-foul flies and attacks.
No, I mean Javier has to start chipping in for
Yeah,
damage.
I was just gonna say, just starts chipping away to try to get back into this game. All right, Frank has nothing, and again with the P-foul.
He has time though.
All right, Foundry's Creature can't attack really profitably without some sort of trick into that Consulate Skygate.
That's a clock now. Longfin Skywhale.
And the air suddenly belongs to Javier Dominguez.
Oh, and he has the removal spell for the flyer as well. I think Frank was hoping that even drawing like an Inventor's Goggles would have been nice because at least he could have made a Founder's Creature 4-3. But even now that is off the table. And now he doesn't want to draw the Goggles.
So in come the 2 flyers.
Yeah, Javier playing fast. He realizes the time is running out and he needs to win a game through as well.
Got a Gear Seeker Serpent. Just costs you.
Ooh.
Wow. And that is a 3-turn clock just by itself.
Yeah.
Frank can't even really gain life with his Precata Pillarbugs. I mean, he will, but you're going to assume Javier Dominguez is going to be putting artifacts in front of them and letting them die.
And I think Frank just drew the Goggles I mentioned. Exactly the card he didn't want to see after that Die Young happened.
All right. I'm going to fly my Pillarbug. My P-Foul, I'm going to unblockable. That's a verb, right?
Yeah, sure.
My Gear Seeker Serpent.
Take 11.
Wow. One more turn in this game for Frank Karsten.
Yeah, now
he does have a Rush of Vitality in hand.
He does, but like,
is it enough?
Like he can attack with everything, but problem is that Marionette Master triggers as well. So, I mean, Frank will gain some life back, but I think it will not be enough to swing it back the following turn. And I think Frank will probably not show his tricks.
Right.
And keep them for the following game.
Needed to find a tidy. Oh, look.
I mean, he can still attack, yeah, but he's going to skip now.
That's that thing where you're like, okay, I'm either attacking with all these creatures or I'm using them to scoop up all my permanents. He goes for the latter. There you see the teams huddled around each other.
Yeah, the three-headed giant.
Yeah, Marcio Carvalho and Luis Salvato on either side of Javier Dominguez. Handful of Pro Tour top 8s on either side of him. There you see a handful of Pro Tour top 8s in between Frank Karsten's 2 teammates who had, I think, a grand total of 1 pro point last season between the 2 of them.
Wow.
And you see people start talking about sideboarding. We never saw the card that Javier pulled with Gonti.
Interesting. Yeah, it might have just been 4 lands.
Yeah, sometimes you hit 4 lands and then it just sits there.
Yeah, and you just want to keep it as a special surprise. But on the other hand, it could have been something like impeccable timing. But because at the point where he played the Gonti, there was not much blocking going on after in the turns after. So
it's his tidy conclusion.
Oh,
that would have been brutal.
I think he would have played that on the Founder's Creature if it was. But yeah, it would have been quite brutal. How comforting must it be to have Marcio Carvalho on your side during a limited portion? I don't think there's a better limited player right now in the world than Marcio.
He was the draft master. It got him to the World Championship.
He went 6-0 in draft there, I think, or 5-1 or 6.
5-1, I think.
Yeah, 5-1. Yeah, picked up his first loss in Shadows over Innistrad Limited at a pro level event. But he then won a GP in Limited as well. Yeah, crazy man. Yeah, Luis looks like he's a little tired still, maybe jet-lagged.
It was a long day yesterday.
It was.
We had a very long day. We didn't get out of here until almost 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
We get every other round off. These guys are sitting there, and you're making these tremendous decisions, these really grueling games. And again, we've shown that these games will tend to go a little bit longer once you get to this stage of the match too.
It's one of the things that people really underestimate. It's how grueling the long rounds are, and you see people just tuning in for the finals of a GP and they're like, oh, but this guy's playing so bad, like he's making so many mistakes. But like that guy has played 17 rounds of Magic before now. He's playing his 18th round.
Yep.
You're bound to be tired. There's just no way around it. So
yeah, same thing at Pro Tour. Sometimes it's that third day.
Yeah.
You're up. If you don't have the massive team to help you play test, you have to stay up and do some of your play testing yourself. All right, we're getting ready for Game 3. This is going to determine who wins this match. Marcio Carvalho took his, and Bas Mellis took his. Game 3 to decide who goes either 10-1 or the slightly dented 9-0-2.
I mean, maybe Frank Carson's team drew some inspiration from Thomas Hendricks 2 weeks ago, where Thomas Hendricks went 11 wins and 4 draws.
Into ninth place?
Ninth place, barely didn't make top 8 on tiebreakers. But it's just extra punishing. Look at the draw from Frank, though. Inventor's Goggles and the Scrap Heap Scrounger. That's some pressure early on. Not even the Consult Skygate can hold the Scrounger bag with goggles on. Even though the idea of a Scrap Heap Scrounger with goggles on physically.
Well, he wants to really be able to find the good stuff in the Scrap Heap.
or a Pillar Bug.
Pillar Bug, much more exciting.
Is it?
All right, there's a Chief of the Foundry for Javier Dominguez. But it is not going to be able to tussle with one of these creatures.
Yeah, and just put him down on the bug and swing it is a lot of damage. Put it on Scrounger as well. Nope.
Just attack.
Yeah. Take 3, buddy. Frank Carson wants to add to the board another 3 drop.
Yeah, those 2 bounces. He's another pillar. Of course he has another pillar bug.
He has 3 in his deck. Of course he has double pillar bug.
But here is a 3/5 Dakara P-Foul.
Yeah, Chief of the Foundry is a fantastic card in this format. It's just instantly pumping all your guys, and also vehicles. It's just so nice. And especially in drafts, you can pick it up early, build your deck around it. One of my first sealed pools with this set was double Chief of the Foundry, and it looked very good. And only then I realized that this is a big luxury to have. Speaking of luxury.
Yeah, Gonti, did he get a Marionette? Did he hit Marionette Master off of Gonti there?
It's possible. I just don't see just out of sight. There were several spells to choose from, though.
No attack from Frank.
Now Javier can expand his board.
He could, if he had something.
Maybe he's like keeping up tidy conclusion. Or I think we saw the Disappearing Act as well, even though it's not that great here. Yeah, the big advantage of the Dutch team is the fact that they can speak Dutch to each other, whereas the Spanish, Portuguese, Argentinian team, they actually have to speak English because they just can't find a common language, even though Spanish and Portuguese, of course, share some similarities.
Yeah, they're both Romance languages.
Yes, but even Javier told me, well, me and Luis, sometimes like we gotta simplify our Spanish because it's different.
Look at how wide Frank is going here.
Yeah.
Now he adds a Dund Operative. He plays a Prophetic Prism. And Javier Dominguez has as many lands.
Again, no play.
But nothing going on. 6 mana, no action.
Has to be very suspicious, though. Like, leaving up so much mana. I think Frank already saw the Subtle Strike, and I think that's at least one of the more obvious ones.
Just gets in with his 2 Death Touchers.
Yeah, exactly. That's a safe play. He doesn't need to. He can wait.
And Javier's already at 12, so.
Yeah.
And we know we saw Rush of Vitality in Frank's deck, so Rush of Vitality becomes really sweet with Death Toucher sometimes.
Yeah.
So Chief of the Foundry is offering to trade with the Operative. Frank accepts.
I'm sure Frank won't mind this trade. Like, Chief was a big problem for him. Now Ambitious Aetherborn. Yeah.
And that's going to get Disappearing Act. Picks up a land.
Yeah, but I think Frank was also trying to bait it. It seemed fairly obvious now, but if he draws the land and actually found the Marion Master with a Gonti, he'll be in great shape.
There's an Ambitious Aetherborn for Javier Dominguez.
They're just saying, like, look, like, Gonti is still a problem. Like, you need to make your guy bigger just to be able to block the other creatures, even if they get the goggles on. And now.
But he did get the Marionette Master
4-6
from Javier's deck.
Yeah, Javier's like, oh, man. That's my card. That's why you hate Gonti, Lord of Action. Oh,
it's a 5-7, a 5-8.
Wow, and immediately scooped because Frank can just swing with his team and like the
wow.
Jeez, it's an artificer.
So every one of Javier's artifacts that died, that was going to cost him 5 life. All right, so we're going to pick up the action on the back table, and we're gonna go jump to game 2 of Paulo Vitor Damarosa versus Dan Bernand.
Yeah, this is looking interesting. So just from the game scores, Andre Strasky and Paulo Vitor are up a game in their matches, and Min Nguyen is winning here. Remember, the team on the right of Martin, Bernard, and Gwen are all fairly amateur players. We haven't seen them much around. They don't have many results, but they've crushed it yesterday, 9-0.
Yeah, and Dan Bernand is someone, he's a 25-year-old veterinarian from Oxford. He's day 2'd 8 out of 8 GPs he's played in.
Wow.
He hasn't gotten into the top 8 yet, but he's only been playing for about 3 years.
Okay. Well.
So pretty impressive, and playing against Paulo Vitor Damarosa, who has been playing for well over a decade, is in the Hall of Fame, has just one of the most absurd resumes in the history of Magic.
Yeah. I remember Paulo's first pro tour was the same as mine, Berlin, World's Berlin 2003. So he goes way back. 13 years of top level Magic. It's
Such
fantastic.
a slacker, Matej.
Well, I'm sorry. Paulo is just immensely talented. I'll give him that. Like, I don't even come close.
You have him in the top 5 players of all time, top 3 players of all time?
Top 5, I think. Yeah. We can have this discussion later on.
Yeah. Just trying to get your professional perspective on where he sits. Here's a self-assembler for Dan Bernand.
Yeah.
As you can see, Min Nguyen is up 1 game over Shahar Shenhar, the 2-time world champion, and 2-time Pro Tour top 8 competitor Andre Strasky up a game over Alistair Martin.
Yeah, and look at the sweet combo that Paulo Vitor Damarosa has put together. He has Gear Shift Ace with the Oval Chase Dragster.
Oh, wow.
Which is not just a 6-1 trample, but it gets first strike, which is great with its high power, and it just makes it really hard to block. Dan Bernard, if he found removal for the Gear Shift Ace, he'd be really happy because Paulo has 3 vehicles.
Yeah, he would love a subtle strike right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. He just has the self-assemble. I think I saw a Skywheel shot. No, yep. So just more self-assembling going on. It's another Skygate.
Now, do you consider putting 2 self-assemblers in the way of that dragster?
Yes. Very much so.
Oh, you're at 7, so you kind of have to.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a Skywheel shot from Paulo, and it can scry a land to the bottom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I love how the amateur team is doing, just getting 9-0 and drawing the first round today with the team of Frank Carson that just won. Very impressive stuff, and now they're facing off against another super power team.
What do you do here?
Double block with the Skygate? No, you can just... Yeah, wait, why did he block with just 1?
Worried about maybe...
No, but it is trample too, right?
Yeah,
so
it does have trample.
So he just took 2 trample damage for nothing, basically. He could have... of course, he could have been scared of like a small trig, but I would have double blocked there. Okay, now might be the time for a double block yet again, but Paulo's has been drawing a couple of blanks, but as soon as he draws a creature, he'll get on the paint train or the sky skiff. Ooh, what is that? Ooh,
Renegade Tactics.
Doesn't draw a creature though. Again, just all the lands.
All right, just keep that dragster going. There is no good option here. for Dan Bernand other than to chump block and take some trample damage over his wall.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hello.
How much? He doesn't have enough energy, though. And it actually doesn't really even matter with all these vehicles.
Yeah, but it's a 6-6 flyer for 7. I mean, at least he can finally find a trade. Paolo, spell? Another vehicle. He wouldn't mind drawing a start your engines right now.
I wonder if he has one in his deck.
Oh, I can have a look. Quick one.
All right. Here we go. The gear shift ace gets in the vehicle and is everywhere. So what's interesting here.
Well, he can first strike away both creatures, though.
Yes. But the counter goes on
the 7/7.
the 7/7. And
yeah,
now,
no, 6/6, now it's 7/7.
yeah, now he has a block next turn. Here comes another Sky Skiff.
Jeez.
Servo Exhibition would be pretty insane for Paulo here.
Paolo has a lot of good cards that he can draw in this situation. He actually has double gear shift ace, too.
Okay, this is an interesting card here. Prophetic Prism. I believe there's a Sky Whaler shot
There is.
in hand for Dan Bernand. And he passes the turn.
Oh, there's an aviary mechanic. And that's neat. He can crew his Dragster, play the mechanic, bounce the ace.
Wow, look at this. Crew his Renegade Freighter and his Sky Skiff and attack.
Right. So, but this can still end up fairly decent for Dan Bernand. He can Skywell shot the Dragster, block the Freighter, go down to. Okay, he's gonna do it this way. It's also works as well. I'm gonna go down to 1 from that Sky Skiff. Oh, and he found a good one. Sada is like, oh yeah. Yes. This one, yes.
Wow, look at this.
Dan down to 1.
Clinging to life here.
Yeah.
Gets up to 6 energy.
Ooh, Experimental Aviator. That gives him plenty of blockers. And a perfect one for the Sky Skiff as well. And
by the way, also a perfect blocker. Chump blockers, and then next turn, more chump blockers because he gets to return it.
Well, but also like it bounces all other creatures, including the Thopters you own. So,
I think those Thopters are getting in the way of stuff this turn.
Yeah, I think so. They might, but I don't think Paolo will be able to attack you. I think he just drew an Eddy Trail Hawk. That was a perfect draw for Dan. You can see why he was so happy about that.
It all started with that Prophetic Prism.
Yeah, and look at the scores. Shahar Shanna has already lost 2-0. So Paolo,
wow.
Paolo better win this match. Otherwise, he'll be in trouble. Okay.
I didn't see what that card was.
Shrewd negotiation.
Oh my gosh.
So
I can take one of your vehicles here, which won't get bounced.
He could, yeah.
By the ancient.
He can also give him a Prophetic Prism if he wanted to. Like there's enough stuff going on here.
Well, you could just give him the token because you're going to bounce it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Dan's like, this is this cute? Is this too cute? I think the only thing he might be worried about is the fact that he'll have to stay on defensive anyway, just because he doesn't have enough mana to play the negotiation and replay the Aviator. I don't think. I think he's 1 short.
Yeah. The Prophetic Prism is in with his lands, but it's not an extra mana.
Yeah.
He needs 10 mana to be able to do both.
Yeah, I mean, he can just keep hoarding energy. And the Ether Squall, he already has enough energy for the Ether Squallation, and he needs 8, right?
Yes.
So.
Yeah, he just passes the turn here, actually.
Yeah, it does. He's in no rush. Paolo already used the Sky Whale shot, so it's unlikely that he'll have another removal spell for this 7/7 flyer. Yeah, I was like, yep, go.
Paolo passes. 12 energy now.
Oh, Concealed Courtyard.
I might have played the Concealed Courtyard that turn.
Yeah.
Because he can't get to 10 mana off of it next turn.
Correct.
Decided to keep it concealed.
Yeah,
wow.
More dice.
Third die. We're actually gonna go.
Yeah.
Oh,
I need 15, but it's like. Okay, so we're gonna use 2 dice to represent it. Okay, die young. Not the greatest.
But he's going to use it here. He's going to get rid of probably, I'm going to assume, the gear shift ace.
Yep.
Yep.
Get an extra energy out of the deal. The Diane could kill anything here with so much energy in the pool.
Yeah, Paulo decides not to animate the Sky Skiff with the threat of the Aether Squall Ancient.
Yeah, exactly.
Bouncing everything.
Okay.
So shrewd negotiations. I want your Sky Skiff. Now Paulo's going to animate that Sky Skiff because he's like, if you're going to activate the Aether Squall Ancient, I want my Sky Skiff back.
Yeah.
And then he also taps the Sky Skiff to animate his other Sky Skiff.
Cute plays all around. I just don't think it's going to mean any attacking just yet.
And Dan Bernand is in no hurry here.
Yeah.
But he's at 1. And that is a scary place to be.
Yeah, but now he's in a spot where he'll be able to bounce all the creatures to the owner's hand, replay his experimental aviator, and start attacking with the ancients after developing his board so much. So Denver might be just turning this around.
So here's an aviary mechanic for Paulo. Probably going to return the prophetic prism. Oh no, he can't return the prophetic prism because it's not his. So there's no really great use here for this aviary mechanic.
Maybe the Eddie Trailhawk just to get more energy. Maybe for some other synergistic cards later on.
If he has, maybe a. I don't even know what he could have here.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, if he has
19 energy, I think Dan Bernard forgot the trigger. And obviously, Aether Squall Ancient. He could have been up to 19 energy.
Harness Lightning would be maybe the.
Oh yeah. That could be.
And that would let him kill the Aether Squall Ancient.
Yes. All right, so I think it's about time that we're going to be bouncing stuff to their hands. Because Dan has to win this game somehow.
All right.
He's going for it. Yeah, but we know he's going to replay the Aviator.
So first things first, attack with the Aether Squall Ancient.
And he also drew a Percata Pillar Bug. A way for him to gain some life back if he needs it.
Yep, plays both the Experimental Aviator and the Pillar Bug and the Concealed Courtyard.
No cards left.
Empties his hand. No secrets.
No secrets.
Now, lots of stuff for Paulo to do.
Well, Paulo drew a Fleet Wheel Cruiser.
Oh my god, did he?
Yeah. He also has the Gear Shift Ace to give first strike. If he wanted to.
Well, this is scary.
Certainly is.
Although not unreasonable. Okay, here we go. Let's see, the Fleet Wheel Cruiser comes down.
Yeah, so 5/3 Trample Haste.
Here's the Gear Shift Ace. Here comes Eddie Trailhawk. Gets the 7 energy. Hawk cruise the sky ship, the sky skiff. Fleet Wheel Cruiser, of course, becomes a creature when it enters the battlefield. Doesn't need to get crewed here.
Yeah, the tricky play here is that Paulo can still use the Gear Shift Ace to give the Fleet Wheel Cruiser first strike if he wants to. The fact that Fleet Wheel Cruiser has the ability that makes it into artifact creature when it enters the battlefield, it
doesn't prevent it from being crewed still.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like when you start to have to roll your car down a hill to get it started, and then you hop in?
Yeah, something. That's a nice analogy.
Okay, so.
All right, so he animated his Sky Skiff by using a Thopter, and now he's putting the Aviator in front of the Sky Skiff, and
I imagine he's going to put the Pillar Bug and the Sky Skiff in front of the Fleet Wheel Cruiser to get 6 toughness in front of it.
I mean, he can't take any damage, obviously. He's on 1. So this works, but this will mean he'll lose the pillar bark most likely, without being able to kill the Fleetwheel Cruiser. Yeah, so he's gonna kill the. He might want to get rid of the fire as well. Just goes for the pillar bug.
But the Fleetwheel Cruiser does not die with first strike.
And the thing is, like now, Dan Bernard will be forced to hold back again.
Yep, because we get to do this all over one more time.
Yeah. But this time around, he won't be able to. He won't be able to attack with the Ancient because he's gonna know that there's a Fleetwheel Cruiser in play, something that he'll have to deal with. But let's see. Tough spot, like top
razor thin margin here for Dan Burnett to operate on.
Okay, feeling familiar.
A little bit more room.
2 more life. Yeah.
Possibly 4 more life.
We'll see. And Paolo drew a lot of lands already. Speaking of which, he just drew another one. Way too many lands for Paolo Vitor Damarosa. In his red-white, what seems like an aggressive deck. Let me have a look if he's playing that Start Your Engines. Oh, he is playing Start Your Engines. He does have one in his deck.
So Paolo's got that Aviary Mechanic in hand. Plays it. Picks up his Hawk. Replays his Hawk. Gets some energy. Says go.
Okay.
14 energy now for Bernand.
Well, the thing is, now that he has a Filigree Familiar, he could go for, bounce everything with this Ancient, swing for 7, and replay Filigree Familiar and the Aviator. And I think be in decent shape. Especially maybe if he drew something.
He could even get in for with the Sky Skiff in that scenario.
Yeah, he could. But yeah, he's just going to be a little more patient. I think there's a veteran motorist from Paolo. I think I saw a multi-color card in his hand.
I think that might be a DePaula.
Ooh, a foil DePaula. Whoa. He can dig for some stuff here.
And that's exactly what he's doing. Pays 5. Crewing, not sure what. Oh, there's the Start Your Engines.
Oh, so he's going to go
but
for
it's a Fairground Warden.
Does he?
I don't know how good that is, though, on this board. Well, I guess it gets rid of the Aether Squall Ancient.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's great.
Does he have a land to play? He does.
Plays his land.
Oh, so he's got...
Oh, my gosh. Butchers the Ancient.
That's a good answer. And now...
And then uses it to crew a Sky Skiff.
That was a good find with the DePaula. Great draw there. After drawing so many blanks.
Look at this. Can Dan Bernand not take 3 damage here?
Yeah, can he find a way? I'm not sure if Dan.
Oh, and he makes the Fleetwheel Cruiser fly with the Eddie Trailhawk.
But he bounces with Select for Inspection, gets the Aether Squall Ancient back.
Oh my God! That is spectacular.
Wow, both players drawing good cards, but now Dan Bernard has the 6s. Can finally get rid of the Fleetwheel Cruiser. He cannot. It's a 6/4 because of the DePaula. So he cannot just go for a trade there. He can try. Or he can trade, but it's not a clean block like we thought at first.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like saying, no, this is not final. Let me think.
Man, you're done. Come in here. Help me.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, he still has one card. Oh. Yeah, I think the English team was having a lot of good fun yesterday when they were playing. I mean, of course, it's a lot of fun when you're winning, but they were in very good spirits overall. So I think he's just saying, "Don't worry, Paolo. I'll tell you when I'm done."
Wow.
You got to figure this one out.
But under this circumstance, he's taking one, right? But loses his Aether Squall Ancient.
Yeah.
But gets rid of that Fleet Wheel Cruiser, which is not insignificant.
He gets to kill some guys.
Gets to draw a card with his Filigree Familiar. Looks like he's holding a Die Young.
Not bad. All right, so changing his blockers again. So the gear shift is something that Dan Bernard really wants to kill. So I think he might have gotten some help from his teammates. Like, okay, no, you're gonna block like this. Okay.
I tell you, it hasn't been updated on the screen yet, but Alistair Martin evened that up at 1-1 with Strasky. That's an interesting double block there on.
No, it's just a tough combat though. A lot of creatures attacking, and when you're such a low life.
So first strike takes down the Thopter. The Aether Squall Ancient trades. That's right. I forgot. We forgot the Dipalo boosts those aviary mechanics, as we know from the quiz.
Yeah, we saw
is a dwarf.
Yeah.
So we were forgetting all about that bonus. That's what made that math even more complicated.
Yeah, but the Aether Squall Ancient lived as well. And we might have missed something there. Oh. Wow, the Powell did pump the Fleet Wheel Cruiser, so I'm surprised it wasn't a 6-4. And maybe now they're... Oh, yeah, that... Okay.
Yes, there you go.
Whew, I'm just
That's
glad.
what we thought. We were sitting there going, okay,
Yeah.
the Aether Squall Ancient's going to die. It did die.
Yeah.
It just forgot.
Yeah.
It's old. It has a bad
Yeah.
memory.
And there's the
Oh,
handshake.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, okay. That makes it much more clear. But I mean, yeah, Paulo had just a dominating board position because his Skyskiff was a 3-4. All his dwarfs were pumped up with the Dipala as well. So even though there was the big blowout select for inspection mid-combat, it just didn't end up mattering because he had to bounce the Fairgrounds Warden to get a good blocker in play. But it didn't matter in the end.
Okay, I can tell you that players are getting seated for the next round right now. So I'm just going to tell you what happened in the last match.
Okay, please tell me. Who won?
Andre Strosky wins 2-1. He takes the set, and their team takes the match.
Okay, the pros.
Yeah, the pros versus the Hall of Famer and his buddies.
Right, so, but there's still...
All right, so that is it here for round 11 at Grand Prix Rotterdam. We're going to be back very soon with more Magic.